On today's show, the Phoenix Suns are smothered by the Houston Rockets. Devin Booker doesn't look great, but is there a silver lining in all of this? I think there is, and we're going to discuss it and much more on this edition of Locked On Phoenix Suns.
You are Locked On Suns, your daily Phoenix Suns podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up? Welcome back into Locked On Phoenix Suns. My name is Benjamin Garcia, host of The Ben Garcia Show, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 a.m. on YouTube, breaking down all things Arizona sports, and a credentialed Phoenix Suns media member covering your Phoenix Suns 365 days out of the year. That's why we call it your team every day at the Locked On Podcast Network, Planet Earth's #1 podcast network. Wherever you may be listening, however you may be listening, thank you so much for making the show a part of your day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And reminder, this show is free and available on all platforms, including YouTube. So click that follow or subscribe button to do it. Thousands of Suns fans have already done. Become it every day and get locked on to the Phoenix Suns right here each and every day. Today's episode is also brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA, Locked On NBA, for $20 off your first purchase. So we didn't get the game that I think everyone was hoping for. Now, in terms of basketball, I was thoroughly entertained. I think the Suns were very competitive. I thought that they threw everything at the kitchen sink at the Houston Rockets. And I'll tell you what, man, that's not a game that you should hang your head low on. That's not something tonight's not a game that you should be like, oh man, maybe the Suns just aren't as good as maybe we all thought. I don't think that that's fair at all to label the Phoenix Suns that team, meaning they aren't good enough or they don't have the bandwidth to stand with other teams. I truly don't think that's fair. Here's what I will say about the Suns tonight is they looked gassed. I mean, they looked like they desperately needed a blow, meaning that this team has been playing, it feels like, every other night, and in this occasion, on back-to-back nights. They've played, I think, 3 more games than the Houston Rockets have this season. So they've been front-loaded with their schedule. It's like the Rockets fans in the comment section, they're going to have some fun poking fun at the Suns. I mean, I don't really understand why. It was the Rockets B team versus the Suns C team. Like, these are not the teams that we're going to see, which kind of made it take kind of the fun out of it a little bit. Obviously, Kevin Durant's got family stuff going on. Hopefully everything is okay with him, but we were all looking forward to the return of Kevin Durant. But when there's no Jalen Green, when there's no KD, when there's no, Fred VanVleet, Dorian Finney-Smith, or in the Suns occasion, or in the Suns sense, no Jalen Green, no Grayson Allen, no Mark Williams. Like, they're missing guy after guy after guy as well. And important players on this team, much less to, I think, the degree of the Houston Rockets, where it just took some of the fun out of it. But here's what I'll say. Here's my grand takeaway. You can only go next man up, that mentality, for so long. And I think the Suns have lived and died by it so far this season. But after a while, you just start to run out of bodies. And when you don't have Ryan Dunn, when you don't have Grayson Allen, Jalen Green, Mark Williams, what is that? 4 of your top 7 players? It's going to come back and bite you in the ass at some point. And tonight it did. Tonight it bit the Suns squarely in the ass. Is it a excuse that I'm using for this team? No. I think it's a reason. It would be an excuse to say, well, the officials just didn't have the Suns back today. The officials consistently keep going against them intentionally. This should be investigated. No, that's an excuse. The Rockets were the better team tonight, but there were a couple of reasons for it. One, the Suns just played on a back-to-back and 3 games in 4 nights. That team looked tired in the San Antonio Spurs game yesterday. They looked incredibly beat today. And sometimes that's going to happen. And it's not like something where I think it's unfair. The Suns have been the beneficiary of teams coming off back-to-backs or teams being injured, and they will continue to be the beneficiary of those things. And it all evens out at the end of the year. But that's what I thought it was today. I thought the Rockets were the better team, but I didn't necessarily think that when both teams are healthy that the Suns didn't stand a chance. If the Suns and Rockets played a playoff series, I'd take the Rockets to win that series, but it would be a absolute slugfest of 6 games. It would be a highly entertaining, muck it up game for, I think, 6 or 7 games, like at this point in the season. Because what I will say is I'm kind of impressed with the Suns fight in this game. We'll get to Devin Booker and, the Dillon Brooks experience in this game, but you could tell from the jump the Suns were gassed, but they really wanted this game. They really wanted to pull out a victory, even though the narratives kind of aren't there with no Jalen Green and no Kevin Durant in this game, and both teams are kind of injured. The Suns, I think, a little bit more so than the Houston Rockets are. Something was in that building tonight where the Suns were really trying to get this W. But every time they came within 6, 8, 4, 5 points. I was telling my wife this as I was watching the game tonight. Watch. I would tell her, I'd be like, watch, this game's going to get within 8 points, and as soon as it does, the Rockets are going to get back up to 14. That's what it felt like tonight. Every time the Suns made a little bit of a mini run, the Rockets responded almost instantaneously. And part of that has to do with the Suns kind of just giving them the game in stretches. How many times did we see bad turnover after bad turnover with this team? I mean, tonight there was, I don't have the exact number on me. I have it obviously right here, but the Suns tonight had 20 turnovers and conceded 26 points off those said turnovers. It's just 26 free points the other direction. And the main culprit of those tonight, who we'll talk about in just a second, but Devin Booker, 6 turnovers, Jordan Goodwin, 5 turnovers. Like, when you don't have Mark Williams and obviously no Ryan Dunn and Grayson, and your starting lineup consists of Nick Richards and Jordan Goodwin, it's just going to be hard to win those games. And, I mean, call it for what it is. The Rockets were the better team tonight. But again, here's the other thing I'll say about it. Watching this game tonight, you're trying to relate the Phoenix Suns to a team that you could say, oh, that makes sense. That's kind of correlative. I see the correlation between those two teams. The Suns are a mix of a lesser version, the Suns are a mix of kind of like a microwaved version, so a lesser version of last year's Indiana Pacers team with the pace that they play with and the tenacity that they play with offensively and kind of living by the 3-point shot, and a blend of the Houston Rockets last year. Now, if the Houston Rockets and the Indiana Pacers blended teams together, they would have won the championship last year. That's why I say a lesser version of those teams. A team that is still trying to find their footing. Remember, this is a really young team. But it was kind of nice to see that comparison tonight where you saw this big, bad Houston Rockets team walk into Mortgage Matchup Center and see them just kind of push around the Suns. That's what the Suns have been doing all year long to other teams. But the Rockets just had the upper hand tonight. And again, I think part of that has to do with the fact that the Suns were just gassed and we're missing a lot of bodies. I mean, guys, I think in this game, Jordan Goodwin played 37 minutes. Jordan Goodwin played 27 minutes in this game. But coming off the bench, Isaiah Livers played 22, Oso Ighodaro played 20, and Colin Gillespie played 30. They're riding these guys till the wheels fall off. And they've got a game against the Kings here in, Wednesday. By the time you're listening to this podcast, tomorrow. Like, they'll have one day off, and then they've got to travel to Sacramento. Don't freak out because the Suns kind of got boat race to end this game. One, the Houston Rockets are a very, very good fourth quarter team. But also, the Suns just lost their legs and ran out of gas. And that's really plain and simply all there is to it. I'm not changing my expectations of this team. I'm not going to dive any deeper into the minutia of it all. The Suns lost this game, and they kind of lost it from the jump. The Rockets came in a little bit more refreshed, a little bit more healthy, and they capitalized on it. And the Rockets aren't going to apologize for that. And the Suns shouldn't apologize for that. The Suns have been doing the same thing to other teams all year long, capitalizing on back-to-back teams, capitalizing on teams that have been injured. This is the same thing I told you guys after I think it was the Denver Nuggets game, where the Suns lost a couple of games and people were complaining because the Suns weren't healthy and teams were taking advantage of that. And I told you guys, it'll come back around. The Suns will be the beneficiary of another team not having a lot of players, and the Suns will capitalize and get a victory. That literally happened last night against the San Antonio Spurs. So, what do you want to say? What is there really to say? Suns lose. Houston Rockets were suffocating defensively, but they gave you that blueprint of, this is what the Suns could be. So let's dive into some of the not so great parts of tonight. Devin Booker, who was MIA for large stretches of this game again, and Dillon Brooks, who you saw a lot of great with him. There was a little bit of bad, but Dillon Brooks continues to be really good for this team. And Colin Gillespie is playing with a confidence that truly could elevate him to an Austin Reeves level player in the NBA at some point. So let's talk about that and much more next. Today's episode is brought to you by Robinhood. Nobody knows your money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of your money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, beating your PR, beating it again, channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop with Robinhood Legends Advanced Tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. Today's episode is also brought to you by Drip Drop. When I'm hydrated, everything just works better. My focus, energy, mood, even my skin. That's why I've been using Drip Drop. It's doctor developed hydration that keeps me running at full power no matter what my day looks like. Drip Drop isn't your average sports drink. It delivers 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of leading brands, using a science-backed formula trusted by medical professionals, firefighters, and over 90% of top colleges and pro teams. I like using Drip Drop as part of my daily routine. I'll mix a packet in the morning before the gym, or during that midday slump where I just really kind of need that extra oomph. And it really helps me get through those parts of the day. Hydration has become a non-negotiable for me. Truly, it has. At 27 years old, I'm always making sure I'm guzzling down water. Drip Drop helps me feel sharper, calmer, and honestly just better overall. Right now, Drip Drop is offering podcast listeners 20% off your first order. Go to dripdrop.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNBA. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard, and keep your body and mind performing at their best with Drip Drop. So let's start with the thing that gets me in a little bit of trouble on this show. I know that you can't have a hard opinion on Devin Booker's game when it's not there to the degree that you expect Devin Booker to be in. Otherwise, you get labeled as a hater or someone that, I guess, hates Devin Booker. Although, I was the person that advocated for that extension, said he deserved it, said that they should give it to him, said that there's no reason to trade Devin Booker, and that he's a top 15 player in the NBA, and that I think he's the second best shooting guard in the NBA. Like, Devin Booker, and I had one person comment at me. You can't criticize Devin Booker. Think about how much he's done for the Valley. And I'm like, yeah, the Suns also repaid him with $75 million a year. Like, that feels like a fair trade-off, right? Like, you be loyal to the organization. The Suns pay you $75 million a year. I'm not going to like sit here and shake my hand at the, or shake my fist at the clouds and be the old man screaming at nothing. That's not what I want to do. Devin Booker was not good tonight. He was struggling to get to his spots, and there's two sides of the coin to this. There's the coin of the Rockets have the players to throw at Devin Booker, like Jaden McDaniels 2 nights ago, like Jeremy Sohan for the first half of that Spurs game, that can make Devin Booker uncomfortable. I don't think Devin Booker is someone that turtle shells in big games. He had back-to-back 40-point games in the finals. Like, that's not true. But it is a trend with him. When you have a few different players, big-bodied, lengthy players that you can throw at Devin Booker, all NBA defensive caliber players, you can throw him off his game. It's why I don't put Devin Booker in the elites of the elite superstar tier, like the Lukas, the Giannis's, the LeBron in his prime, the Steph Curry's in his prime, Kevin Durant in his prime. It's like, I think Devin Booker is as close to that conversation, but while not being there, because I think with like players like Nikola Jokic, you just can't take them out of games consistently. But in these kinds of matchups where teams can throw big, lengthy bodies at Booker, he struggles to get to his spots. And I think he gets frustrated, and it forces him into really bad turnovers. But to be fair, in this game in particular, what was he supposed to do? Like, the game plan for the Houston Rockets was as easy as ABC, do, re, mi. It was right in front of you. They sunsed the Suns in this scenario. They went full Victor Wembanyama playbook, threw body after Devin Booker, trapped him in the corner, blitzed him to the point of attack on every single time he had the ball, saw multiple defenders in every single possession, and it forced Booker to panic and have some really bad turnovers in this game. Turnovers that immediately led to points. And so here's my only caveat to that, because I don't want to kill Devin Booker on that. Like, it's not his fault. He's playing with the Suns B team tonight. But what I will say is, if you are going to make $75 million a year, if you are going to be a Supermax player, I'm going to hold you to the Supermax standard. You can get blitzed and double team and trapped in the corner and forced to get the ball out of your hands. I get that. You can't consistently turn the ball over, though, because it felt like, whether it was whether it was Amen Thompson or Jabari Smith Jr., or even sometimes Alperen Sengun would go out there with the blitz as well and double team big body. I understand that it's hard to criticize Booker because it's everyone's guy, but I understand that he's maybe not going to have a 35-point performance, especially when he's down his 4 other best shot makers. But you can't actively be a net negative for half the game, turning the ball over to the other team. That is just shooting yourself in the foot. And so that's the thing for Devin Booker that I think is something that can be fixed very easily. He's got to take care of the ball a little bit better this year. And to this point, he had 6 turnovers today. That was a team high once again, because he's handling the ball a lot. And I want to check in on the season. And for the season, Devin Booker is turning over the ball a nearly career high 4 turnovers a game. Before this, his career high was 4.1 turnovers a game. So he's right at 4 turnovers a game, which is basically tying his career high for turnovers. He's got to protect the ball better. He has to. And so I'm not going to kill him for missed a couple of shots, got off his rhythm, couldn't get to his spots. I get it. The Rockets were sending a lot of players at him. I don't think that's a full-on excuse that you can make for Booker. And I think Jordan Knott plays a hand in that too. We talked about this on Friday night. You got to do a better job getting Devin Booker the ball. You got to do a better job scheming up plays for him. You got to do a better job drawing up something for him to where if you set a screen on Jabari Smith Jr., you're not just bringing Amen Thompson over and then they immediately, once they roll off that pick, they're blitzing Devin Booker, forcing the ball out of his hands, and boom, the other direction, they're scoring. Here's the other thing that I talked about earlier in the year. These types of games magnify with like 90 times vision, whatever that means, how important Jalen Green is to this team. And synonymously, Grayson Allen. Because when the Suns don't have two of their best three shot makers in Grayson Allen and Jalen Green, and in this game, Mark Williams, teams are going to swarm Devin Booker, not just the teams with big bodies, lengthy, not just those guys, but teams are going to swarm Devin Booker, suffocate him defensively, make him commit turnovers, and when he kicks out the ball, when he doesn't turn over the ball, there's no one out there to make the team pay for throwing double and triple teams at him. And so tonight was a magnification of that. This team really misses Jalen Green and really misses Grayson Allen. Maybe Jalen Green, not even maybe. Jalen Green more than Grayson Allen. Because Jalen Green is better at creating a shot, better off the dribble, can get to the line, can get to the rim at will. They miss him a lot. And this exemplifies and magnified that times a million today. Because when the Suns, they get down Williams and Dunn and Allen and Jalen Green, they're going to say, okay, Dillon Brooks beat us. And to Dillon Brooks' defense, he was pretty good tonight. But they're going to say Dillon Brooks, Colin Gillespie beat us, and they didn't do that tonight. So again, it's not like a Devin Booker's overpaid. He stinks. I've always been right on this and you're wrong. But because Devin Booker is an elite level player in the NBA, it's just things that we have to continuously look out for and say, that can't happen. And 6 turnovers, he's at his career high in averages of turnovers this year. It's got to come down. It's got to come down. I also want to talk about the Suns' game plan coming into this game. Some Dillon Brooks and Colin Gillespie if we have time. And let's do that next. Today's episode is brought to you by the lovely folks over at Game Time. The NBA basketball season is officially here. Nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games, but let's be real. Getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump right before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer on your team. That's where Game Time comes in. The app that gives the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing NBA tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I recently used Game Time to grab seats for myself and my nephew to go see a Phoenix Suns game. He had never been. I was like, all right, let's make it happen. I get $20 off my first purchase. LOCKEDONNBA. Make his mom buy the tickets. Venmo her for that. And then him and I are going to the game for a very reasonably priced. But it's not even just that. You can use Game Time for anything. NBA, MLB, NFL, concert tickets. It's a game changer. And you know what? Their zone deals are a game changer. You pick a section, Game Time picks you seats and saves you big. You can even find NBA tickets for under $25. Truly, you can. Oftentimes, you can find Suns tickets for $10. So take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Game Time. So I want to talk about this that can't be overlooked going into this game tonight. I can buy into the narrative. I can feed into the narrative. I can dive deeper into this than the Suns should ever do. But there was a lot of chatter about Yeah, you should sit Mark Williams against the Spurs so that you could play him tonight against the Houston Rockets. That was an idiotic take, and I've seen it from like 4 different sources at this point. I saw it on Twitter. I saw it on, I think it was on the radio as well. I saw it on shows. I get it. Like, people wanted to, and you know what? Like, it's an idiotic take to this sense. Like, I get what people are saying. They want to feed into the narrative, and I might do that too. But notice I never said that, because rivalries are fun. And there was some like talk back and forth of like, should the Suns feed into the Rockets rivalry? And I'm like, of course. It's sports. It's the only time you can talk crap to another team, and everyone goes home at the end of the day shaking hands. Do it and have fun with it. But I appreciate that the Suns didn't let any game get too big. They never are too high, and they never are too low. Suns win a game, awesome. Next man up, let's keep doing it. Suns lose a game, awesome. Next man up, let's keep doing it. Let's figure it out. I was a little concerned that the Suns might sit Mark Williams against the Spurs, because I thought they might buy into the narrative of, well, we got to beat the Houston Rockets. We got to beat the Houston Rockets. Like, we just had a trade with them. And they didn't. The Suns rode the course. The Suns have a clear game plan coming into this season with Mark Williams' health. And they don't want to toy with that at all. They're not going to save players for middle of November games against the Houston Rockets. It's different when there's playoff positioning on the line, when you're in the playoffs, of course. But I appreciated the maturity of the Suns to say, no, we're not going to play Mark Williams tonight. We're not going to play him on a back-to-back. That's ridiculous. And yeah, we want to win this game against the Houston Rockets. But no game is bigger than the vision that we have in mind this season. Meaning, we are playing for something much bigger than just revenge on Kevin Durant, who didn't even play tonight. So I appreciated that maturity. I thought there was a chance we did see Mark Williams tonight on the second night of a back-to-back, or him sitting against the Spurs game to play against the Rockets. And I just appreciated them saying, we want to win this game tonight, but we're not deviating from our game plan to make everyone feel better and to buy into the narrative. That's a fan thing. That's not an us thing. We're going to be the mature adults in the room. And that's what they did. So I did want to applaud the Suns for that tonight, for saying, no, you'll see Mark Williams on Wednesday against Sacramento Kings. We're not toying with this. He's been healthy most of the season. That's what we want to roll with. We're not doing anything else. And so credit to the Suns. They have a game plan. They're being mature about it. It's exactly what they should do. Players' health should absolutely come first than some nonsense narratives that we're all feeding into that are fun, but should just stay that narratives. Dillon Brooks, I think over the last 2 games, you're starting to get the full Dillon Brooks experience. Now, just so we're being fair, the only reason why the Suns had a chance in this game, late, early, or anything in between, is because Dillon Brooks was playing like a man possessed. Now, when you say that, you normally say it in a sense of like, oh, so he was playing really well. And in stretches, he was. In the second quarter and through halfway through the third quarter, he was carrying this team. But Dillon Brooks got a little reckless in this game, and he got a little reckless yesterday too. People kind of got upset with me. They were like, you don't think Dillon Brooks played amazing yesterday? I'm like, no, he shot 10 for 24 and he fouled out. Or not fouled out, but had some stupid fouls. And in the game against Timberwolves, he got a little reckless in that game where he had a couple of he fouled out in that game as well. So you're starting to get the full Dillon Brooks experience where 85% of what he does is rock solid. It's great. It's awesome. It contributes to winning more than anything else. And then the 15% where you're like, Dylan, what are you doing? And so in this game, you had that 85% where in the second quarter, he was keeping them alive and he was getting to the basket. And that stuff is infectious. But sometimes you got to find ways to get Devin Booker the ball too. Because in this game, Dylan Brooks shot 11 for 22 from the field, just fine. Defensively was pretty good, but also had 5 fouls in this game. And some fouls were very avoidable. Do I like the Steven Adams call where I think Steven Adams has been doing a little bit of acting with some of his injuries? No, but the ref's going to call it. And so Dylan's a smart basketball player, and he's been really good for the Suns. All I'm analyzing is like that 10, 15% of like, he's got to know when to reel it in a little bit. But again, I get it. He wanted this win really badly. He played like a man possessed. And sometimes, and just in a few stretches, it wasn't all game. He just got a little ahead of himself. Outside of that, this guy's making tough shots, man. There was one instance in this game where I think we all remember where in the third quarter, he was on the right elbow, fading to his left with Aaron Holiday draped to him on his right. And he just keeps hitting these tough shots. Even the announcer was like, that's a 10 out of 10 tough shot. And so he's still playing really well. I just want to know, and maybe it's not, maybe this is just Dylan Brooks and it's not ever going to change. And that's okay. I'll take the 85% of awesome for the 15% of like, Dylan, maybe you're doing too much here. But he's shooting 45% on the year. 3-point percentage is not great right now, 34%. But he's doing it all. He's averaging 21 points a game. And I think his numbers, again, are just going to get better when Jalen Green, Grayson Allen, Ryan Dunn, Mark Williams come back in the fold. So overall, B+ game. I mean, hover, like whatever, if we're average, I think it's like an 88% game for Dylan Brooks, who was really good in this game. I'm just starting to see like, all right, Dylan, maybe bring it back just a little bit. But outside of that, he's the reason why this game was so close. So I get why he had to do so much. With that being said, guys, Phoenix Suns lose. The season is not even close to being over. The sky is not falling. The Suns just got to get healthy. And as soon as they get fully healthy, which is sooner than you think, this team's going to figure it out. And I, if they were fully healthy tonight, like I would have taken them to beat the Rockets. So I'm not freaking out. With that being said, guys, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms at right here, Ben Garcia Show. As you can see in the lower left-hand side, or maybe your right-hand side on the screen, but you can see it in the lower third at Ben Garcia Show. Appreciate you guys tuning in, allowing me to continuously give off my Suns daily takes. Dream come true of mine. You guys continuously be awesome when it comes to this stuff. So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Yesterday, I said it'd be a John Voida Monday. It's because I forgot the Suns had a game. Sometimes I do that in the moment. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's right. They have a game. Tomorrow, John Voida Tuesday show. Wednesday, you'll get it, if that makes sense. You'll see it. Tomorrow, it'll be on YouTube, regularly scheduled times. John Voida will be here. Have a heck of a Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Appreciate you guys. Very thankful for you guys. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow with my guy, John Voida.